I think right now, I'm going out on a limb, but I'm stating it here on the air. I believe what we are watching right now is some of the best storylines the WWE has ever had. And here is my justification for that reason.
You're listening to FTWPodcast.com, where we talk about wrestling in all of its laughable glory. Here's a clip from this week's episode.
The first thing everybody's going to say is, oh, come on, Attitude Era kills it. Okay, maybe. But the Attitude Era had a more risque product. It was an R-rated product. There's more you can do with that. It's going to cater to a more adult audience. That's like comparing regular TV to HBO. When you have a great show on regular TV, it should be appreciated so much more than something on HBO, because HBO can do so much more with language, with sex, with adult content like that. The things they're doing right now are... Thanks for dumbing down my point there, Joe. I really appreciate it.
That's what he's for.
On the
I know, Kev.
Yeah, it's great.
See, Kev, this is exactly what I have to go through every week.
What they're doing right now stays within the PG box and has me captivated by the reality of these storylines. Now, the second argument I know everybody's going to say is, oh, what about the Golden Age? Well, come on. The Golden Age, everything was new. Everything they did was new. Everything they did worked. The wrestlers were great. The gimmicks were all brand new. They didn't have to try to figure out new things or possibly repackage guys into something that's been done. Cough, Del Rio, cough. This is the reason I will say 20 years after that, in a PG world, they are coming up with brilliant, innovative, and creative things to do. These are some of the best angles I've ever watched. I'm captivated each week. I want to know what's going to happen. I'm interested in Raw. So I will go on a limb and say these are some of the best angles I've ever seen the WWE have.
Yeah, I mean, and they're with the way the entire, like, what we have essentially dubbed like the reality era. We're getting into more of that kind of thing. Like, they're doing like small touches, like the fact that Miz and R-Truth got on YouTube, and you can see this at the FTWpodcast.com. They got on YouTube and apologized to the fans as Mike and Ronnie about the lawsuit they're filing against the WWE and Triple H.
Very cool.
Like, and it was very almost heartfelt. And like we're so sorry we have to do this. We don't want to do this to the fans, but we have to, kind of protect ourselves. And it was just like, I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah, if you look, I'm sorry to interrupt real quick, Joe. If you look, there's a comment that says kayfabe lips, so it's almost like they just pulled it off of there. You know, it was great. Like, the first comment just said kayfabe lips. I was like, this is awesome. I mean, it's like they just took it off of there like real, like it was actually just right off of YouTube. Sorry, Joe. I just wanted to cut in with that. Go ahead.
No, and those are the small details that they're learning how to do, and they're doing it extremely well. And you don't need sex or extreme violence.
Yeah, I mean,
to do it. They just have to have referees get tired of being attacked, and the women hinting at rape. What the fuck was with that?
Well,
I didn't like. I took it as them being attacked. I didn't take it that way, and I hope the majority of the people did, but I can see why Joe would say that.
That's the way it came across to me, because it would be something intentional. Like, I'm like, okay, regardless of that, maybe I'm overstepping the boundary outside of the PG realm. They didn't actually say it, so we can still stay in it.
Yeah, I know.
But I like the fact that they're able to do this kind of thing with this PG moniker, and it's working, and it's slow. I mean, as we've noticed, once they went hardcore PG, they're slowly growing that product back toward where they're going, and right now it's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you completely, Kevin. I think this is some of the best stuff that the WWE's done lately, and I think it because of the PG box that they're trying to fit into, because like you said, that really limits what you can do. So you have to be creative. You can't just rely on using, you just can't rely on blood and gore or swearing or all of this other stuff. You actually have to be creative. You have to come up with new ways to do stuff. And to me, I see it as the WWE just challenging themselves. They're like, okay, we're going to raise the bar. We're going to keep trying to get better and keep our fans engaged.
Yeah, I agree that everything that the WWE is doing, they're doing it correctly. And I just wish that it wasn't just us five talking about this. I wish everyone in the IWC would realize that this is quality entertainment, engaging. Everyone is sitting on the edge of their seats, or they should be, or they're not fans. This is awesome.
And here's my problem. What's their justification as to why this is bad? Some of the things maybe before this, I understand it was mediocre, but what right now is making them say that this isn't any good?
Two things.
That's what I would like to know.
Two things.
Yeah. Well, hold on.
No.
Just because I've had a few conversations on Twitter, the justification is that people are pissed that all of a sudden, we were all thinking CM Punk was going to get this huge storyline, and now he's been pushed to the back, and once again we're seeing Triple H, in the center of attention, and how this is all Triple H's fault. But the problem with that statement and that thought is no one makes that decision to put Triple H in a storyline. Triple H doesn't make that decision. The WWE makes that decision based on how he's being, received by the fans. As we saw on Raw, the fans are completely behind Triple H. So why wouldn't they put him out there, especially in a big time storyline like this?
Okay, yeah, that's one of the two criticisms I can see of this. That's one of them. The other one is every time we talk about how great WWE is doing with something, it's never a match. It's the storyline. And I can see why someone who really wants to watch wrestling would see this and go, how much time did this Triple H walkout thing take? Because right now, I'm looking at the doc, I see 3 matches, and then this block about what happened. How much time did this take?
That's a fair point for people, particularly the CM Punk thing and the Triple H thing. I think that's a fair point. However, that doesn't detract from the angles themselves and the storylines that they're presenting. Those are awesome. I love the controversy of Triple H. This is a lot harder than I thought. A vote of no confidence. Everybody walks out. Prior to that, the YouTube thing, the attack. Let's go back further. I'll even say the entrance. Nobody expected Kevin Nash at SummerSlam.
True.
So I think what they're doing right now is incredible. However, I will acknowledge those gripes from people, particularly the CM Punk one.
Right. Speaking of CM Punk, fans have been asking or ridiculing him on Twitter about not being out there for the walkout. For not being even out at the ringside. He makes a statement on Twitter about it and says, I think a lot of people are missing the point, fans and coworkers alike. Walking out is a pussy move. There's a huge difference in what I did. I want change and can't change shit from my couch. I'm the foxhole. I'm getting it done. I stayed to fight, and I'm fighting for change. You can protest violently or peacefully without actually showing up. Walking out isn't a solution, at least not one that I've ever seen work. Hold them up, make them change. Just don't walk out or lay down. Fight. This goes for fans as well. Bored? Don't like John Cena? Want more Zack Ryder? Show up and be heard. Don't be a pussy and just tweet about it. I mean, he keeps going on, but at least they're spotting something off. This is some of the best stuff they're doing. They're incorporating every outlet. Right. Every time you breathe in a general WWE direction, you're getting kayfabe and you don't even realize it.
Yep. Pretty amazing in our society, too. I love how they've embraced these things and used them to their advantage.
Yeah, and to finish off real quick, Kevin, I think one of the big problems is it's like Eric Bischoff from TNA has been pointing out. There are certain people in the internet wrestling community who complain solely to complain. No matter what a company does, they're going to pick the one thing wrong and they're going to bitch. And if the wrestling company addresses that problem, they're going to move and they're going to find something else to bitch about. I think this is just malcontents bitching just to bitch.
Which is unfortunate.
Okay, so here's my question. So you have WWE doing such an amazing job. Obviously, they've hired top-notch social media experts, which I refuse to believe is a real thing, but obviously it is. They've hired smart people, and they got a great thing going. How do you see this trickling down to TNA, Ring of Honor, and the Indie Feds? I mean, do you see that this is going to reach out to them, or do you think because of the reach WWE has, we're only going to see it in their universe, and it's lightning in a bottle, and that's it? We're not going to see it go anywhere else.
TNA themselves has already said that they want to get in on the Hogan said TNA is about to get real. So them in particular, I think, would do that. Indie feds, it's tougher to call. I mean, they're not on TV, so.
Right, that makes it much more tougher. But I mean, you get Ring of Honor. This is something that TNA really, if TNA would have done this like 6 months ago, like we were saying they should have, they had hints of it, but they never really drove the point home. They could be so much further, so much more. You know, they'd have so much more credit.
Yeah.
They had hints of it. They just never embraced it.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is that they can't push it because they're not live, and that's the big thing that pushes the WWE over. You know, when you tape shows 2-3 weeks in advance, and people can find the results on the internet, which is where Twitter is, it makes it a lot more difficult to have that type of reach. It's not necessarily just because the audience size is so minimal in TNA and ROH, but it's just because it doesn't feel real, especially when the TNA wrestlers are also live tweeting the show as if they're not watching their own product.
Wait, Twitter's on the internet now?
Well, this is the thing. No,
Yeah.
Gov brings up a really good point. The audience size doesn't matter. You watch a Ring of Honor show, it's just like old school ECW. These people are fanatic about the product. And you didn't really see that in WWE until they started doing this. And then now all of a sudden, all we've been talking about all day today. I mean, the YouTube stuff, hitting up on Twitter, CM Punk going on Twitter, the walkout, all this stuff is just embracing the fans and incorporating it almost like a what's it called? They do this before movies. You know what I'm talking about? Like a really big movie release. They do this big game thing where you look at a website and there's like a glitch, and then you go on the website and it gives you a phone number to call. You call the phone number, you get an automated message.
Almost like an alternate reality game?
Yeah, it's almost like that. It's almost like we are a part, like you see glimpses of behind the scenes and the curtains getting moved and we're seeing the machinations behind it, and it's incredibly compelling because WWE is putting on a great product in front of the camera and behind the scenes now. And it's just, I'm just floored that it's WWE doing this and not TNA or Ring of Honor, but I've been saying that for months.
Yeah, and you know who's the forefather of that? Paul Heyman.
Yep.
And
Sandman Tommy Dreamer.
And what I think is really helping the WWE and what TNA is trying to catch up with now, and like we said, should have been doing this months ago, but I think the audience in the WWE feels like they're a part of the show. If you're watching a WWE event live at a show, you don't feel like you're just watching it. You feel like you're a part of it. Like the wrestlers respond to what the fans think. The company holds stuff out, taking opinion from the fans. The fans of WWE feel like they have an impact in what WWE does, and that helps. And from a fan standpoint, that always helps too.
Yeah, and Ring of Honor is doing that kind of thing with these Twitter. They pick the best tweet of the week, which are always terrible. The one they picked for this one is, "You should watch Ring of Honor because I'm Batman and Batman said so." That's of the week. 7 days go by, and that's the best one they pick. But yeah, I mean, Rob, you're right. I mean, the more they can interact with the fans, the better. So that's going to be fantastic.
You've heard our thoughts, but now we want to hear from you. You can find us on both Twitter and Facebook, and even leave your comments here on our YouTube channel and on our site, ftwpodcast.com.